Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into the PortalFuse Weekly Security Report for April 15th, 2025. Today, we're really zoning in on the Windows and Edge vulnerabilities, and since you're all seasoned Intune admins, we know you want the critical stuff, the actionable intel.
Exactly. Cut through the noise. What do we need to act on?
That's the plan. So let's dig into what PortalFuse has flagged for us this week.
Sounds good. And looking through it, there's a hefty chunk related to Windows 10, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. Lots of Windows 10, and a recurring theme seems to be, well, elevation of privilege.
Right. EOP, the
Okay.
classic way for an attacker to get deeper into a system, gain those higher privileges.
Precisely. So let's kick off right there with the EOP vulnerabilities. There are quite a few. First one PortalFuse lists is CVE 2025-29824.
Yeah, the common log file system driver. Use after fru.
Right. Local attacker, low privilege needed, no user interaction. That sounds pretty straightforward for an attacker on the Gox already.
It does, and the payoff is potential system privileges. That's a CVSS 7.8.
7.8, okay. And the fix.
Its insecurity update 5055547 covers 32-bit and by 64 Win 10.
Good old 5055547. We'll probably be saying that a lot today.
I suspect so. That use after free, it's about accessing memory after it's been freed. If they can control what goes back into that spot.
They can potentially run their own code, with system rights in this case.
Exactly. That lack of user interaction makes it a high priority for our Intune estates.
Agreed. Okay, next. CVE 2025-29810A. Active Directory Domain Services.
Improper access control. This one's network-based.
Network, okay. But high complexity.
Yeah, high complexity. No user interaction needed, though. And again, potential system privilege gain. CVSS 7.5.
Also fixed by 5055547 for Win 10.
That high complexity might make it harder, but AD! You don't want network attackers getting a system on anything related to AD.
Absolutely not. Even if it's tricky to exploit, the potential impact across a domain, well, it's huge. Something we manage closely with Intune.
Definitely. Okay, then we've got this group of NTFS vulnerabilities, all out-of-bounds reads. Right, I saw those. 27741, 27733, and 27483.
All local attacks, low complexity.
But they do require user interaction.
Mounting a crafted VHD specifically.
Yeah, gotta get a user to mount a malicious virtual hard disk. Still, if they do.
Potential system privileges again, all CVSS 7.8.
And all fixed by, I guess.
5055547 for Windows 10, seeing a pattern.
Clearly. It is interesting, though. Multiple vulns tied to mounting VHDs suggests maybe that area is a bit tricky.
Could be. Handling external formats, input validation is key. User interaction helps, but social engineering or a compromised local account could bypass that.
True. Okay, moving on. CVE 2025-27727, Windows installer, improper link resolution.
Classic installer issue. Local attack, low complexity, no user interaction.
And potential system rights. Fixed by 5055547. This just sounds like they can trick the installer into running something nasty with high privileges.
Pretty much. Craft a bad package, the installer service runs it, boom. Low complexity, no user needed. Yeah, that's one for the patch list.
Definitely. Next is CVE 2025-27484, Windows UPnP device host. UPnP always seems to pop up, doesn't it?
Seems like it. This one's network attack, but high complexity. Race condition involved.
Race conditions can be tricky to exploit reliably, but the potential impact.
Total loss of confidentiality, integrity, and availability.
Yeah.
CVSS 7.5.
Wow, okay. So the description mentions sensitive data in improperly locked memory.
Yeah. And again, fixed in 5055547. Even with high complexity, that potential impact on UPnP, which is often network-facing, it's concerning.
It is. UPnP's focus on ease of use sometimes comes at the expense of security. This looks like another example. Got to patch those endpoints.
Right. Then there's CVE 2025-27478, heap-based buffer overflow in Windows LSA.
LSA. Oof. Local Security Authority. That's critical.
Yeah. Local attack, low privileges needed. High complexity, again, another race condition, no user interaction.
But the goal is system privileges.
Exactly. And fixed by 5055547. Even with a race condition making it harder, hitting LSA is bad news.
Definitely. Heap overflows, writing past the buffer boundary. If you can control that overwrite in your LSA, you could potentially gain control. Big risk.
Okay, still more EOP. CDE 2025-26688, Microsoft Virtual Hard Disk, stack-based buffer overflow this time.
It's another VHD one. Local, low privs, no user interaction.
CVSS 7.8, potential system gain. Fixed by 505-5547. Seems VHD handling is definitely getting some attention.
Stack overflows. Different mechanism. Writing past buffers on the call stack, aiming to control execution flow. No interaction needed makes it potent locally.
Makes sense. Okay, CVE 2025-26687. Use after free, but this time in Win32K.
Win32K, right. Network-based attack vector.
Requires user interaction, though, and high complexity. Potential for system privilege. Fixed by 505-5547.
Win32K vulns often get used for sandbox escapes, things like that. Even with high complexity and user interaction, system is system. Needs the patch.
Got it. Then CVE 2025-26679. RPC endpoint mapper service. Use after free again.
Local attack, low privs, no user interaction.
Potential execution not as system, but as NT Authority network service. CVSS 7.8.
Network service still has significant local rights and network access. Could be a foothold.
True. And the fix.
505-5547. No surprise there. But yeah, compromising network service is a good pivot point for an hacker.
Okay, nearly done with the EOPs. CVE 2025-26665 affects Windows upinfos.dll. Again.
UPnP Part 2. Local attack, high complexity race condition, potential system.
And explicitly called out as fixed by KB 505-5547. UPnP just keeps giving. Huh.
It really seems to be a focus area, or maybe just complex to get right. Race condition or not, system is the goal.
Right. CVE 2025-26648. Windows kernel this time. Sensitive data in improperly locked memory.
Kernel level. That's always top tier concern.
Local attack, low privs, no user interaction. Could lead to system.
And fixed by 505-5547.
Yeah, kernel vulns are the jackpot for attackers. Direct
Evil.
access to the core OS.
Got a patch.
Next, CVE 2025-24073. Microsoft DWN Core Library. That's Desktop Window Manager.
Okay, what's the vector?
Local, low privilege, low complexity, no user interaction, high risk for confidentiality, integrity, availability.
Low complexity, no interaction, high impact. Sounds bad.
It does. Fixed by 505-5547 for Windows 10. That combo of easy exploit, high impact is definitely concerning.
Yeah, DWM handles the GUI rendering. A flaw there could potentially break a lot of things or allow nasty stuff. Needs patching ASAP.
Okay, two more EOPs. CVE 2025-21204. Windows process activation. Improper link resolution again.
Similar to the installer one.
Seems like it. Local attacker, low priv, no interaction. Potential manipulation with system privileges. Fixed by 505-5547.
And there's that note. Creates a %system drive % and etpub folder.
Yeah, that's odd. A side effect of the fix, maybe?
Probably related to how the service handles paths now.
Related.
Important note for us, admins don't just delete it thinking it's leftover ISAS stuff. It might be needed for the fix.
Point, monitor, but don't mess with it.
Right.
And the final EOP listed is CVE 2025-21191. Windows LSA again. Talk to race condition.
Talked time of check, time of use. Tricky timing attacks.
Local attack, high complexity, potential system gain, fixed by 505-5547.
Yeah, exploiting these requires hitting that tiny window between the security check and the action. High complexity makes sense, but hitting LSA, still worth patching.
Definitely. Wow, that was a lot of elevation of privilege.
Tells you where attackers are often focusing getting those higher rights once they have a foothold.
Makes sense. Okay, let's shift gears to remote code execution, RCE.
All right, first one.
CVE 2025-27491. Windows Hyper-V, use after free.
Hyper-V. Okay, is it host or guest? How's it triggered?
It's listed as a local attack, needs low privileges, but requires user interaction visiting a malicious site. High complexity race condition, too.
Local trigger, but needs web interaction, so maybe escaping a VM or affecting the host via a compromised user browsing.
Sounds like it. Fixed by 505-5547. The user interaction adds a hurdle, but still a risk in Hyper-V environments.
Yeah, especially on workstations using Hyper-V. Need that patch.
Next, CVE 2025-27487. Remote desktop client. Heat-based buffer overflow.
RDP client. Okay. Local attack, low privs, user interaction needed.
Yes, user has to connect to a compromised RDP server. CVSS is 8.0, though.
Right, so the vuln is on the client, but triggered by the malicious server.
Exactly. Fixed by 505-55547 highlights the danger of connecting to untrusted servers.
Absolutely. User education plus patching the client is key here.
Okay, then we hit a whole series on the telephony service, all RCE.
Yes, TAPI. Saw a bunch of those.
CDE 2025-27481, Stack Overflow. CVE 2025-27477, Heap Overflow. Then 21222, 21221, 21205, all heap overflows too.
5 of them.
All network attacks, all require user interaction connecting to a malicious server, and all critical CVSS 8.8.
8.8, yeah, that's serious RCE, and all fixed by
505-5547. Seems the telephony service had a rough patch review cycle.
Clearly. That user interaction requirement is the main mitigation, but if an attacker can trick a user into connecting, boom, RCE. Need perimeter controls and user awareness too.
Good point. Next, CVE 2025-26686. Windows TCP/IP. RCE risk from sensitive data in improperly locked memory.
TCP/IP stack itself, how's that triggered?
Network attack. Needs user interaction via DHCPv6 request. High complexity attacker needs to intercept and send a fake IPv6 reply via DHCPv6.
Ah, okay, so it needs a man-in-the-middle or rogue DHCPv6 server. Tricky, hence the high complexity.
Right. Fixed by 505-5547.
Still, patching the stack is always prudent.
Agreed. Then CVE 2025-2667Z. Lightweight Directory Access Protocol Client, LDAP client. Use after free leading to RCE.
LDAP client, okay. Network attack.
Yep. High complexity race condition. But importantly, no user interaction and unauthenticated.
Ooh, on-off, no interaction RCE. Even with high complexity, that's top priority.
My thoughts exactly. Fits by 505-55547. Needs immediate attention.
Absolutely. Sending a crafted packet could potentially trigger it.
Got a patch. Okay, then 2 for RAS routing and remote access service. Both heap overflows, both potential RCE.
RES seems to be another theme this month.
First is CVE 2025-26668. Network attack. Needs user interaction connecting to a malicious server. High complexity, CVSS 7.5.
Okay, similar pattern to the TAPI ones.
Then CVE 2025-26663. Also network, also high complexity race condition this time. Doesn't mention user interaction explicitly for this one.
Need to check the details on that one. But both fixed by 505-547.
Both fixed by 505-5547. Shows RES needs patching if you're running it.
Definitely. Weaknesses in handling network traffic or memory seem likely there.
And the final RCE is actually in the browser. CVE 2025-29834. Microsoft Edge, the Chromium-based one.
Okay, what's the vuln?
Out of bounds read. Network attack. Needs user interaction visiting a crafted website. High complexity. CVSS 7.5.
Standard browser vuln pattern, tricking the user to a bad site.
Right. And the fix here is not the main KB. You need to update Edge itself.
Ah, good catch. Version 135.0.7049.85 or later. That's a separate deployment task for us in Intune.
Exactly. Can't rely on just the Windows CU for this one. Make sure Edge policies are pushing the update.
Got it. Okay, Edge update noted.
All right, let's move on to information disclosure vulnerabilities. Less severe maybe, but still useful for attackers.
Can be, yeah. Reconnaissance, finding other weaknesses.
First is CDE 2025-27742. NTFS out of bounds read.
Another NTFS one. Local attack.
Local, yes.
Yeah.
Requires user interaction mounting that crafted VHD again. Low complexity.
Yeah.
CVSS 5.5.
Okay, moderate severity. Fix is 5055547.
Yep. PortalFuse also notes no public exploit code seen yet.
That helps, but doesn't mean it won't appear. Patching's still advised. Leaking memory info could help bypass ASLR for other exploits.
Good point. Next, CVE 2025-27738. Windows ReFS this time. Improper access control.
Resilient file system. Network attack.
Network, no user interaction needed. Low privilege attacker can exploit it. Discloses file path details, CVSS 6.5.
File path disclosure, maybe not huge, but could reveal system structure. Fixed by 5455547.
Yes, for Win 10 and server versions. But here's a catch, requires a registry key enablement. Need to check KB 5058189.
Ah, one of those. Patch isn't enough, need post-patch config, critical detail for deployment plans, especially if using ReFS.
Absolutely, need to factor that extra step in.
Okay, noted. ReFS requires reg key.
Then CVE 2025-26672. Back to Windows RAS. Buffer overread this time.
Information disclosure via overread. Network attack.
Network, yes. Needs user interaction initiating a connection. Discloses small portions of heap memory. Fixed by 5055547.
Small portions. Maybe less impactful, but still, leaking heap data isn't ideal. Could still help an attacker map things out.
True. And then another RAS one. CVE 2025-26669. Out of bounds read.
How's this one triggered?
Network attack. User interaction sending a request to a malicious server. Discloses portions of heap memory.
Okay, similar mechanism, but look at the CVSS.
Yeah, 8.8. That's really high for info disclosure.
Does lead to something significant then, or be very easy to leverage.
Fixed by 5055547. That high score definitely makes it stand out. Leaking heap data from RAS could be quite valuable.
Could reveal sensitive session info, maybe pointers useful for other exploits. Yeah, patch that.
Agreed. And the last info disclosure. CVE 2025-24197. Windows NTFS improper access control.
NTFS again. Network attack.
Network, no user interaction, low privilege needed. Discloses file path info similar to the ReFS one.
And fixed by 5055547, but wait, let me guess.
You got it. Fix is disabled by default. Requires that same KB 5058189 and registry key enablement.
Okay, so both the NTFS and ReFS path disclosure fixes need manual registry changes post-patch. Good to know. Might be performance or compatibility concerns driving that decision by Microsoft.
Could be. Requires careful testing before enabling those keys across the board.
Definitely. Okay, on to the next category. Security feature bypass.
Yep. SFB vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
First up, CVE 2025-29809, Windows Kerberos insecure storage.
Kerberos bypass? How?
Local attack, low privs, no user interaction. It bypasses Windows Defender Credential Guard, leaks Kerberos creds.
Ouch. Bypassing credential guard is bad. Fixed by 5055547.
Yes, but again, an extra step is needed. You have to redeploy your virtualization-based security VBS policies.
Okay. Patching isn't enough. Need to push the VBS policy again to ensure the fix is active in the isolated environment. Makes sense for credential guard.
Exactly. Another crucial post-patch step for Intune admins.
Noted. Redeploy VBS policies for the Kerberos one.
Next, CVE 2025-27737, Windows Security Zone Mapping. Improper input validation.
Security zones. How does that get bypassed?
Local attack requires user interaction clicking a crafted URL. It can bypass the app container execution environment, CVSS 8.6.
Bypass app container. That's a serious sandbox escape. Fixed by 5055547.
Yes, and you also need to install the latest Internet Explorer cumulative updates.
IE updates. Okay, even if we don't use IE, components might still be relevant. So 2 updates needed for this one.
Right. Shows how interconnected these things are. Bypassing app container via URL click.
Yeah.
Yeah, needs patching with both updates.
Got it. Windows CU plus IECU for zone mapping bypass.
Then CVE 2025-27735, Windows VBS insufficient verification.
VDS itself. Local attack.
Local, yes. Requires high privileges, though, and no user interaction.
Yeah.
Fixed by 501-55547.
High privileges needed, so maybe less critical unless an attacker is already admin.
Probably, but still, a flaw in VBS itself isn't great. Could potentially undermine the isolation guarantees. Worth patching anyway.
Fair point. Defense in depth.
CVE 2025-27472. Yeah. Windows, Mark of the Web, MOTW failure.
Mark of the web bypass. How's that work?
Network attack, user interaction downloading and opening a malicious file. The MOTW protection fails. Fixed by 504-55547.
So files downloaded might not get the usual warnings or run in protected mode. That lowers the bar for social engineering.
Exactly. MOTW is a pretty fundamental defense layer against downloaded malware. Need that fix.
Agreed. Keep MOTW working as intended.
And the last, SFB. CVE 2025-26637. BitLocker vulnerability. Physical access needed.
BitLocker physical bypass, no privileges or user interaction.
That's what it says, just physical access. Fixed by 505-5547.
Reminds us that physical security still matters, even with encryption. Wonder what the mechanism is there.
Yeah, details aren't given, but patching closes that physical access loophole for BitLocker.
Good to know. Patch applies even if physical access seems unlikely.
Okay, final category. Denial of service, DOS.
Availability impact.
First, CVE 2025-27473. HTTP says uncontrolled resource consumption.
HTTP SCAR kernel driver for HTTP network attack.
Network, no user interaction, no special privileges needed. Affects Win10 and server. Fixed by 505-5547.
Yeah, unauthenticated remote DOS against HTTP tests is bad. Can take down web services, maybe the whole box.
Definitely is the patch.
Yeah.
Then CVE 2025-27471. Microsoft streaming service. Sensitive data in improperly locked memory leading to DOS.
Streaming service. Network attack.
Network, no user interaction. High complexity, though. Fixed by 505-55547.
High complexity helps, but still, a remote DOS against a core service isn't good. Patch it.
Agreed. Then 2 for LDAP. Uncontrolled resource consumption DOS.
LDAP again, critical service.
CVE 2025-27469 and CVE 2025-26673. Both network attacks, no user interaction, no prior privileges needed. Both CVSS 7.5.
Oof. Easy remote DOS against LDAP, that could cripple authentication domain-wide.
Exactly. Both fixed by 505-55547. High priority for any environment using Windows LDAP server.
Absolutely. Keep those directory services available.
And the very last one, CVE 2025-26641. Microsoft MSMQ. Uncontrolled resource consumption.
Message queuing, similar pattern.
Network attack, no user interaction, no prior privilege. ZVSS 7.5, fixed by 505-557.
Okay. Deep breath. That was a lot of CVEs.
It really was. A busy patch Tuesday distilled by PortalFuse.
So let's wrap this up for our Intune admins listening. The main takeaway. Well, it seems pretty clear. KB505555547 for Windows 10, 32-bit, and by 64 is absolutely critical.
It covers the vast majority of everything we just discussed.
Yeah.
EOP, RCE, info disclosure, SFG, DAOS. It's the big one this month.
Get that tested and deployed as soon as feasible. Prioritize it.
And don't forget Microsoft Edge. That needs its own update.
Right. Version 135.0.7049.85 or later for that RCE CVE 2005-29834. That's a separate push via Intune or your usual Edge update mechanism.
Crucial point. And finally, those extra steps.
Yes. For the Credential Guard Bypass CVE 2025-21989, remember to redeploy your VBS policies after installing the KB.
And for the NTFS and REFS info disclosures, CVE 2025-21197 and 27738, check KB 5058189. The fix needs those registry keys enabled, which requires assessment and planning.
Exactly. Patching is step one, but sometimes these extra config changes are needed to fully close the door.
So KB 5055547, the Edge update, redeploy VBS policies, and check the KB for those registry keys. That seems like the core action plan from this report.
Sounds about right. Stay vigilant, keep patching, and pay attention to those post-patch details.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, that's our deep dive for this week. Stay secure out there.